and a happier life. Guys, as you know, this show is all about a common man, and I repeat, by common, I do not mean ordinary in any way. It basically means those whose profession does not require a higher level of fitness, like in case of movie stars or in case of sports stars. And our requirements are that we have work responsibilities and family responsibilities, and within all those, we have to manage our fitness, our health, and our well being. And every week, we invite a health expert to guide us, to guide our viewers on healthy living and give us some tips which are important for our health and fitness and wellness. So today we have a very special guest with us, and let me just bring on her to the show, and she will be there. She
Mhm.
is. So she is Rachna Tulsian. Very warm welcome to you, Rachna ji, and should I
Thank
call you Rachna
you.
ji? Thank you so much for accepting our request and coming to our show. And let me just introduce you to our viewers. So she is Rachna Tulsian. She is an art of living teacher. She's based out of UK and she works as a well-being consultant with TLEX Institute, which is a global institute. And she has over 10 years of experience in delivering leadership, team building, meditation, and wellness programs. She has worked closely with many corporations, and some of her recent clients are Atlas Copco, Warwick Business School, HSBC, Thomson Reuters, to name a few. Wow. She has had a board position in a leading charity of Europe and works actively with communities to bring about the awareness for mindful living, as she firmly believes that mind matters. Wow, Rachna, it's an honor for us for such a personality to come to our show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Nishant. Thank you so much for having me here. First of all, a very big thank you to Vitamins and to Danik Vishwamitra for doing such an amazing, amazing job. I think in today's day and age, especially this year, has been extremely stressful because of COVID and the pandemic. And the work that you all are doing is so important. And I'm very grateful for providing me this platform to share that's something so special and so dear to my heart. Thank you.
Pleasure is all ours, Rachna ji. So, as we say that the topic for the day, as you have chosen, is take a pause. Before going into that, I would like you to share your journey as to how you started this journey of art of living teacher and a well-being consultant, and just some light on that first, please.
Yeah, so Nishant, like yourself, you're based out of Calcutta, and that's how I know you. I know your
Uh-huh.
sister really well from school. So I was born and raised in India, Calcutta, and then my first posting was in Hong Kong. My husband was a banker, so without knowing anything, I was like a young girl, full of life, full of vigor. I moved to Hong Kong, and then my husband was a banker, and his work was always getting a transfer. So from Hong Kong, I moved to Bahrain, Bahrain back to Hong Kong, Hong Kong to Indonesia, Indonesia to Saudi, Saudi to the Bahamas, and now I'm in UK for the last 15 years. So while
Wow.
I was taking this journey, traveling the world, from one country to another country and to another, what was happening inside me, something was changing. I was this bubbly, beautiful young girl, full of life, being out there, getting out there. That still remained. But, personally, in me, inside me, I just felt that quotient of happiness was reducing. I was not feeling that my quality of life was as great. And more importantly, I felt I did not have enough energy to work with my kids because along the way I traveled. And that's where I started exploring into looking into mindfulness techniques, meditation. And I
Mm.
started my first course in 2010. And it worked so much for me that I went on to be a well being consultant. So that's my journey and my very personal journey because I really felt I needed to do something. And I'm so proud of myself for taking that step. And I took the pause, I made a
Yeah.
life shift. I just didn't follow the rat race. What I did was I decided to do the catwalk while I did the rat race.
Wow, that's amazing. Take the catwalk while you are having the light race. Fantastic. It's very, and you are proud of yourself, and we are thankful to you for taking this course and helping so many of us and the world. So we need more people like you. So thank you so much for choosing this path. So Rastari, I wanted to ask one thing, like you mentioned about taking a pause and then approaching, looking into other things and not going into the rat race. One thing I have always wondered whether wellness has to be holistic in nature or not, because I don't know how it goes in the UK and the other parts of the world, but here I see, people who are into physical wellness are just talking about physical wellness. People who are into spiritual wellness are just talking about spiritual wellness. People who are into mental wellness are just talking about mental wellness. But do you think each or all of it can be achieved in isolation? My personal thinking is, shouldn't it be all like a holistic? What are your views for it?
Nishant, you're absolutely right. I think this understanding of what is well being is important, number one. And that's where the holistic approach comes. There's a lot about diet and nutrition, which is a very big part of it, right? We have to eat better, we
Yes.
need to sleep on time. What are the other key sources of energy that can bring about that overall well being? We need to sleep, we need to eat, we need to exercise for sure. And most importantly, we need to do what we call it is meditate. Take a pause, just close your eyes and breathe. And how does it work is, Nishan, I just want to work a little bit more about that. We say something at the TLX Institute of the Art of Living. We have something called the 7 layers.
Mhm.
And how do we experience life? We experience life through all these layers. The first layer is obviously our body. If there is no body, we can't be on this earth. So we
Yes.
need to take care of the body. As we say, the body is our temple. We experience everything through this body. Taking care of the body is the paramount need. So we start with the body, and then is our breath,
Mhm.
and then is our mind,
Mhm.
then is our memory, our intellect, our ego, and then is our self, the pure self, how we were all born like baby, full of energy, full of prana, the life force. I
Yes.
think for me personally, all children are my teachers, because I want to be like them, full of happiness, full of being in the present moment, so focused.
Mm.
So what happens is over the years, Nishant, these layers, which was called the body, the breath, the mind, the intellect, the memory, the ego, we start accumulating stress in all these layers.
Mhm.
And
True.
only through working through different tools, awareness, knowledge, we are able to pull out the stress from every single layer. And this is
Mhm.
where all the courses, the guidance, sometimes people say, oh, I don't need a course. I don't need to go on a course. I'm happy.
Yes.
Of course, that is our nature. If you're not happy, something to worry about, right? But
Who
the
else?
point,
I mean, I myself am a living example of this. I always into more. I was always more into physical fitness. So one of my friends was after me a couple of years ago. It's purana baat hai, 4-5 saal purana. Was after me to attend this mind workshop, mental health and stuff. So I was same reaction as you just said. Most people have. He literally was after me for 1 year, and I gave him some of the other excuse कि आज ये है आज वो है नहीं join किए. Finally, he reserved the ticket. He reserved the place. He booked the place. He paid on my behalf and said, "Now you have to go." And after that, it has been a life-changing experience. So I thank him for doing that. But not many people have such friends who can force you to go into it. But then I understood the importance of mind and the soul and the spirit and everything, that they are equally important and not only your body. So please carry on. I just
yes,
asked in
basically, we
between.
all know, like, see, now yoga is a big industry all over the world, and we are so proud that yoga comes from, our motherland, India. And Patanjali was the propounder of yoga, and he actually mentioned that the mind is bigger than the body.
Yes.
And usually what happens na Nishant, हमारे जीवन में क्या होता है, everything is physical. And especially
Hmm.
nowadays, we have nail parlors, we have hair salons. There is so much fitness going on with all the protein shakes, the gymming. That's, of course, important. But the point is, it has to be in sync. The mind and the body needs to go together. So we
Absolutely.
need to work on the mind. So there is the muscle, which is our physical body, and the mental
Hmm.
muscle also needs to be worked on.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's very important.
So this
Too
is
much
where
focus on the.
our expertise kicks in. So in UK and Europe, all over Europe, we go in companies, And then we train people why taking a pause is important. It's like that bow and arrow. जितना दूर हम उसको खींचेंगे ना, arrow उतना ही आगे जाएगा.
Very
The
true.
same thing is with the mind. जितना हम mind को पीछे ले जाएंगे with the pause by meditating, the sharper the intellect becomes, the more sharper our memory is. We are able to focus better, more concentration happens.
So, Rachna, why not? Let's give an example. If you can take a session for that matter, let's take a pause, as you say. And it would be great if you can actually take our viewers to a meditation session, a guided meditation session. If you can do that.
Yes, Nishant, it'll be a pleasure. So let us all sit comfortably and easily. शरीर को ढीला छोड़ दें, आंखें बंद कर लें. And our palms are resting open to the sky. If you're sat on a chair, put your feet on the floor. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, make the sound. You can open your mouth and make the sound. Take another deep breath in. And again, breathe out. Now, for the next few minutes, we'll keep the body as still as possible. Take another deep breath in. And keeping your mouth closed, breathe out. The incoming breath is energizing your body, and the outgoing breath is relaxing you more and more. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, relax your shoulders, relax your arms, relax the whole body. Keep a gentle smile on your face. Take your attention to your physical environment. Listen to all the noises in the environment. The sound of doors, people talking, or any other noise. Accept all the noises. Now you are in harmony with your environment. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, relax your face, your shoulders, your arms. Take your attention to your physical body. Your body is a precious gift from nature, from God. Honor your own body. Take your attention to your feet. Knees, thigh, hips, face, top of your head. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, relax more and more. Take your attention to your thoughts. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, just let them be. Now you are in harmony with your thoughts. Breathe in and breathe out. Take your attention to your feelings. Pleasant and unpleasant feelings, just let them be. Now you're in harmony with your feelings. Breathe in and breathe out. Take your attention to your feelings. Take your attention to your thoughts. Take your attention to your physical body. And you may slowly move your fingers, move your legs. And in your own time, when you feel complete, you may open your eyes.
It's always relaxing and आवाज ही नहीं निकल रहा. It's so relaxed. It's always important to take this pause, as you rightly said. It's amazing, relaxed and light. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you, Nishant. In today's day and age, it's becoming more and more important to take this pause. Finding a see, अभी हमने क्या किया 5-6 मिनट भी आंखें बंद नहीं किया. What happens when we meditate? See, when we sleep, only the physical body is resting, but not the.
Hmm.
Have you
Mind is
realized
still.
sometimes we get up from sleep, but फिर भी we don't feel fresh. Mind is still not. You're still very groggy. There's a lot of fatigue, a lot of exhaustion in our system. जब हम ध्यान करते हैं ना, जब हम मेडिटेशन करते हैं, तो वो एक्चुअली माइंड को रेस्ट होता है. And in the meditation, all the exhaustion, the stress, it all comes out. And that is why we feel so restful. Because see, what happens is we have this mind and we have the body, right? Our body is always in the present moment. Would you agree with me? Our
Yes,
breath is always in the present moment. We can't say I'm going to breathe tomorrow. हम ये तो नहीं बोलेंगे ना हम कल सांस लेंगे. But what about the
mind
mind?
is कहीं पे भी हो सकता है. past,
But mind,
present, future.
exactly. But mind को क्या हो रहा है? देखो vacillate हो रहा है. Even when we are talking, sometimes is going in the future, is going in the past. And this vacillation of the mind is causing stress in our system.
So true, so true. Such a simple logic, but probably we don't realize this.
Yeah, and वो pause लेने से क्या होता है ना? The moment we take a pause, we take our attention to our breath. You know, the mind comes in the present moment, and we are getting no stress. Because ये
That's
सारी
absolutely.
बीमारियों का जड़ क्या है? Stress.
Yes. Stress is the mother of all
90% of the
diseases.
diseases are psychosomatic, and science has proven that now.
Yes, yes.
So
Absolutely.
this pause is very important, you know. And personally, for me, Nishant has had huge life shift. My whole perspective changed, you know. The dynamics changed. I just turned 50 this year. I'm very proud to say that. I'm happy to say
Nobody,
my age to a very large audience
it's
because I think
amazing.
I'm 50, but I think I'm 100 times more effective. I have more energy, you know, than I had because now I've understood the value of taking a pause. I've understood the value of meditation. You know, I've understood the value of being in the moment.
Absolutely. So, if the mind is young, then automatically the body looks young. So, let's all focus more on the youth of the mind by taking such pauses. So, Rashna, if I can ask you something more specific for the viewers to understand, as well as for me. So, what do you think is the right time for meditation? Like you said, that when you wake up, you're not feeling, you still feel groggy, not fresh. So, do you think that there is a particular time if the meditation is done, then it give more benefits?
Yeah, so basically, when we meditate, obviously we need to do guided meditation. We need to learn, first of all, Nishant, through any practice
Mhm.
because we are so lucky. We have so many schools out there teaching
Yes,
us. So,
yes, yes.
guidance, like, see, when we learn to play tennis or we learn to even use the gym, we have trainers to teach us to give orientation. The mind is very complex, you know. But what I can give a very good for our viewers today is the best
Mhm.
way is कभी भी मन थोड़ा भी अशांत होता है ना, just take your attention to your breath. Just वो एक लंबी गहरी सांस लो, and that moment we feel relaxed. And in fact, you know, when we teach in our corporate courses, we actually show them a slide. The moment, you know, there was this research done in Germany when they were shown a group of, there were two subjects, two groups. एक group को उन्होंने क्या दिखाया? Disturbing pictures. And while seeing the pictures, they had to take their attention to their breath. So while they were seeing, they had their attention on the breath. The other group was shown the pictures, but they were asked not to take their attention to their breath. And guess what
Mhm.
happened?
I'm sure the one without the breath must be in a bad shape.
Yeah, the ones who did not, you know, have their attention on the breath, they had more stress looking at the disturbing pictures. And the ones who had their attention on the breath in the prefrontal cortex, which is part of our rational thinking, there was an increase in that. एंड हमारा ना ये पीछे में ब्रेन के पीछे यहाँ पे ना दैट वो पर्ल साइज का वो अमिगडाला होता है, यू नो, व्हिच इज पार्ट ऑफ द
Mhm.
एंजाइटी एंड पैनिक, वो डिक्रीज
Mhm.
हो जाता है द मोमेंट हमारा
Mhm.
ध्यान वो पॉज लेते हैं, सांस को लेके जाते हैं, वहां
Mhm.
पे वो तुरंत एक वो हो जाता है, एक राहत मिल जाती है, यू नो, वी जस्ट
Uh,
फील मोर जस्ट रिलैक्स्ड, यू नो.
just like you mentioned that we require training for everything. So even meditation, if there is initially, that means if we can take a training as to how is we should go about it, then that would help. That is your point. Just like
Absolutely.
even simple things like if you go want to swim, if you want to drive or learn to drive a car, we have to take initial training first. Even for physical fitness, the same thing applies. But probably we take our body and our mind and टू लाइटली दैट वो तो बिना ट्रेनिंग के भी हो जाता है. सो इवन फॉर फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग वी फील कि उसमें क्या रखा है, दौड़ना ही तो है या जाके जिम में वजन ही तो उठाना है. सिमिलरली फॉर मेडिटेशन क्या है, थोड़ा शांत होके बैठना ही तो है. But there's much more to this, and if we learn simple things, then we can use it more effectively. That's the advantage of it.
And you know the science behind is, you know, we have three lobes to our lungs. You know, जो हमारा जो lung capacity है वो day to day we only use about 30%. When we get
Mhm.
trained on the kriyas, the pranayams, and you know our ancient practices, we actually
Mhm.
increase the capacity to 80%. And very naturally we are getting rid of all the stress hormone, which is the cortisol. वो very naturally reduction हो जाता है, So we are so
Mm.
blessed to have these natural tools, and we
Yes.
are walking with it, staying with it, living with it, but we're not using it.
So the more oxygen is the secret behind your youth. That means.
Yes, I'm a practitioner, and it's like when, because this is what I do for a living, so it's important I practice it myself, and yes, and it's brought a lot of change in my personal life as well, Nishant. So
So Rajnati, we just have time. It's been an amazing session, and I know that we can go on and on. So one message for the viewers. What do you think is that one message?
yes, so my one message will be, remember, take a pause, and take a pause, maybe every hour. जब तक हमको practice नहीं है, reminder phone पे डाल दो. And what we do is, when we take a pause, that moment we just close our eyes, we just take a deep breath, and we just let go. Taking these short breaks will help us to make that shift. Maybe have a glass of water,
Just
hydrate.
like a couple of seconds. When you say take a pause, is it just 2 or 3 breaths? Is that good
Yeah,
enough,
just
or
yeah,
is it?
basically depending on the time factor, what we are
Mhm.
doing, and even if we are not doing anything, that mindful pause is important. See, sometimes doing nothing is also taking us to a place of being very lonely, very sad. है ना? So mindful pauses, becoming aware of it, that is the point. So mindful pauses are very important. And why I say the breath, because your breath is in the moment, and with your breath you bring your mind into them. Otherwise वो पता है, mind racing होता रहता है ना, it's
चलता
running,
रहता है,
running,
चलता रहता
and running mind leads to more worry, more anxiety.
है. Pause.
So
This
that
would this also help in better sleep for people who are having any sleep issues? I know you're running out of time, but I didn't
Yeah, for
couldn't
sleep
stop myself from
issues,
asking
we,
this.
we teach a lot in our courses. We teach particular breathing in our corporate courses, and even on the Art of Living programs. We do something called the Ujjayi breath. We learn a lot of different kind of breathing, and that particularly really helps. And we have a lot of free guided meditations. So if you just practice that, we have free yoga nidra practice. All of that helps us to calm the mind, and we will sleep better for sure.
Fantastic. So there, this is such a topic that one session is not good enough. Maybe I'll invite you, and if you would be this enough to agree to our invitation, maybe soon, so that we can talk more about it. And
Absolutely.
because
It will be a
one
pleasure.
one half, yeah, half an hour is definitely not good enough for such a wide topic. So, Rastari, thanks a lot for coming in. Thanks a lot for giving your time and this lovely insights to our people. I'm sure that more and more of us during this pandemic have realized the importance of mental health. That's one side of the positive side of the entire situation, I would say. And with people like you, we are being able to understand more about it and take up such practices. So, you're doing a great job. Please carry on doing it. And thanks a lot for joining in today and sharing your views.
Thank you so much, Nishant. Thank you for having me. And it was such an honor and a pleasure. And I hope that it will help our
Thank you so
audience.
much. Sure. Thank you, Rasmi. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye.
So, guys, you heard Rachna Tulsian. She has, you know, by now that she is an international art of living teacher and working for TLX Institute, training people all across the world. So, the importance is take a pause. That's my takeaway from the session. So was the topic. Take a pause every hour. Don't think about anything. Just focus on your breath for 2 to 3 seconds every hour till it becomes a habit. As she said, that it's a good thing to put a reminder on the phone, an alarm. So that's a very great takeaway, and I'm sure we'll see tremendous changes. And as she said, let's take up first, learn the art of meditation through some practice, through some institute, and then we can use that in our lives. Right, guys? Till we meet again. Be healthy, be happy, and be safe. See you next week with some more tips on healthy living. Thank you so much.